I'm so excited to have the following guest on the show today. But before we get started, I do want to mention a couple of resources. If you're looking to move to Denver or the state of Colorado, or already live in the state of Colorado and are looking for a job, make sure you check out Hired. I have the link in the show notes, so definitely check out Hired if you're in the tech industry, an engineer, any of the supporting staff. Hired is an awesome resource for you. If you need to save money on day-to-day expenses, check out Colorado-based app Ibotta. I absolutely love this app. I've had the opportunity to meet Brian Leach, who is the CEO, on more than one occasion, and it has been a great way for me to save money on my everyday shopping. You can also use it with Amazon and different vendors that you would least expect. Again, check out Ibotta, Colorado-based app. There's a link in the show notes below, so definitely check that out. If you're wondering how to get to the show notes for this show, go to squarestateco.com/Kari. And Kari spells her name Kari. So again, it's squarestateco.com/Kari, Kari. Enjoy the show, and if you're looking to buy a house, you definitely want to check it out. Welcome to Square Estate, Not a Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Jackson, bringing to you awesome people from throughout the Denver-Boulder metro region, as well as the rest of the state of Colorado. Today, I thought I would invite you to connect with one of the best people I know, seriously, and she doesn't know that I think this way, but I think she's just fabulous. She helped me find a home. She will, in the future, be helping me to find new homes. She doesn't know this, but she will be. And she's basically amazing. This week, we're talking about finding housing, purchasing homes in a market like Denver's. It's a hot market. It's not always going to be hot, but she's experienced both the ups and downs of the real estate market in the state of Colorado. So today's guest is Kari Lundgerg from Porch Group. She is, again, absolutely fabulous. Anyway, I'm just so excited to bring you today's guest. So Kari, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic for a nice rainy Monday.
I'm like trying to process the rain. I'm like, what? But I love it because I love the 4 weeks of fall that we have every year.
Yeah, that's about all we might get this year. It looks like we might be going straight into winter.
You know what? I'm okay with that because we haven't had a really good winter for a long time. So I'm really up for a epic winter with a lot of snow, with 3 feet of snow from time to time whenever you're not selling or showing a house.
Exactly.
Or like signing paperwork, which reminds me of when we were doing like closing on my place, and each time we would go to close, there would be like 3 feet of snow. I'm still traumatized by that, by the way.
Well, that's funny because, I don't remember snow being on your closing day, but yeah, it didn't surprise me.
It was on like every couple weeks there was some kind of paper I had to bring in, and each time there was like a snowstorm.
Well, the technology is a little bit different than when you bought your house now. Almost everything is just electronic signatures, and we probably won't even have to worry about that anymore.
Oh my God, you mean back a million years ago, back when the dinosaurs roamed?
Yes, exactly. I know. It truly has changed so much in the time that I've been a real estate agent. It's made life a whole lot easier for a lot of people. No more trying to, trudge through the snow to track down one signature, to get back to an office, to put it in a fax machine, to, that's all done. So
fax machine you speak of. But before we go further, Kari, introduce yourself, share a little bit about yourself with the audience and what you do.
Well, this is Kari Lundberg with Porch Real Estate Group in Denver. I am a Denver native. I have lived here my entire life, never lived anywhere else. I have been selling real estate in Denver for 13 years. And I just have all kinds of fantastic things to say about Denver and the Denver market. So let me know what else you would like to know.
I want to know how you got into real estate. Like, you're really good with people. So I have a theory, but how did you end up in this career?
Actually, when I bought my first condo in Capitol Hill, I was 24 or 25 years old, and I had a really fantastic agent. And really, that was the beginning of my curiosity with real estate. And I always thought throughout the entire process of buying that it would be something that I would be interested in and get excited about. And I kept in touch with that agent for years. And then she ended up selling that condo for me. And during the process of selling that condo, I asked her a whole lot of questions about what it's really like to be a real estate agent and if she thought I would be a good fit. And she was like, "Oh yeah, you should get your license and we'll get you set up and I will mentor you, I will train you and you can work for me. And I think you'd be a fantastic real estate agent." So I thought about it for a long time and really went through the pros and cons of what I thought at the time a real estate agent did on a day-to-day basis. And I decided to go for it. I had a background in recruiting and sales, and I thought it would be a really good fit for real estate. So I studied for my license and I passed the exam and never looked back. Here we are 13 years later.
And for the listeners, share some of the recent accolades you've received, because she's kind of playing it a little coy, but Kari is very, very, very well thought of here in the city of Denver. And I feel like you just recently got a very nice accolade from 5280 again, 5280 magazine. And what was that exactly?
I did. Thank you. Yeah, it's always an honor to get this award. 5280 magazine has a list of real estate agents that are considered to be 5-star professionals. And for the 6th year in a row, I was given the award just recently in the most recent September edition of 5280.
6 years in a row, people. So she is a really good person to work with on purchasing a home. And you're a seller's agent specifically.
No, I work with both buyers and sellers.
Okay, awesome. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of the current home buying experience in the Denver metro area. What is it like for people who are interested in purchasing a home here? What are you looking at in terms of trends, things to be aware of, and just kind of talk about what you're seeing right now?
Okay. Well, it is just as crazy as everyone says it is, unless you've been living under a rock. I'm sure you've read and seen that the Denver market is definitely hot, and it is a seller's market. It is competitive. It is exciting. It is frustrating. It is lots of different adjectives that I could use. But what I'm trying to help buyers with right now is to, stay the course, be patient. The right house is out there. You might not get the first one that you write an offer on, but the goal is to, not have to write 20 offers on 20 different houses. Patience really does pay off. And I'm trying to instill into buyers right now that they need to, stick to what their list of priorities is. And you can't give up too much of what your wish list is, but your wish list may kind of morph over time. The first day out looking at houses, you may think, oh, I have to have 4 bedrooms and I have to have this and I have to have that. And after looking at several neighborhoods and houses, that list may very well change. So you need to be a little bit flexible on what your requirements are.
Okay.
But also, again, I don't want people to give away too much of what they feel is a good fit for them.
So let's kind of talk about, if you were to meet with a client, say tomorrow, if it were sunny, and they were to go with you to look at homes, and then they find a home, they want to put in an offer, like just kind of walk us through how many homes people seem to be looking at in order to find a home to put an offer on. Are companies wanting people to have 20% down, or does it just depend on that person's specific financial situation, or just the situation of the house, or let's just kind of break it down and really get into some of the logistics that you're seeing. Are people putting in offers day of, Are you finding that you're working with people who are putting cash down in terms of paying the like for condos, especially like just paying it cash, all cash, and then they're done? So what's happening? Like, are there people coming in from out of state and kind of jostling to the top to get a place, or is it a little bit of everything because it's such a competitive?
Yeah, you're correct. It's a little bit of everything, and every case is a little bit different. I will say absolutely for sure, there's no way any type of offer is going to be looked at unless you've got cash or you are solidly pre-approved with a lender. So I really won't even go out and look at houses with people until we know for sure that they're going to be able to close with a lender or if they have cash in hand.
Okay. Are people looking for days, weeks, months, or what has that looked like from the ground up? Like, are people
I've had people come into town or, have buyers that live here already, and we find something relatively quickly, which is great. But also I make an effort to really make sure I can get into as many properties as possible with my buyers before they make a decision, just so they really feel like they've made a good informed decision before they pull the trigger and make an offer on a house. So I've had people find something quickly. I have buyers that I literally have someone who's been looking for 5 years.
Oh my golly.
So she's obviously not in a hurry.
Okay.
But it's okay. I mean, something eventually is going to pop up that's going to be the perfect fit for her. We just haven't found the right one.
I hope she's looking for a ranch.
I would say on average, looking at 10 to 15 houses is normal.
Okay.
And some need to look at quite a few more before they're ready to make a decision, and that's fine. Quick, and sometimes it takes a long time. There's no formula.
What's the neighborhood that you're like, that up and coming neighborhood that no one's really talking about?
Ooh, well, I don't know if no one's talking about these neighborhoods. I'm sure lots of people are talking about these neighborhoods, but the areas that I'm really excited about right now and I'm keeping an eye on pretty closely, the West Denver, like 6th Avenue corridor, Villa Park and Ruby Hill and Barnum. Those areas on the west side of town are seeing some pretty big increases, and I think there's some really cool houses over there for affordable prices. And then on the east side of town, I am seeing, again, close to that, that 6th Avenue corridor near, on the north side of Lowry, in between Stapleton and Lowry, all the way out to Fitzsimmons.
Okay.
So some of them are Aurora, and I think that's a pretty exciting area right now too. There's just a lot going on in that area, and easy access to everything, and so those are two areas that I'm watching pretty closely right now.
What would you say is a specific challenge that you're noticing buyers dealing with that might be unexpected?
I think the biggest challenge is, again, it's pretty darn competitive. So a lot of buyers are getting beat out by cash buyers, which, unfortunately, it is what it is. Unfortunately, you can't compete with cash every single time.
Right.
If you fall in love with a house and the cash, even if you offer over asking price and you waive contingencies and you can close as fast as you can, if a cash buyer happens to be waiting and they can close in 2 weeks, and there's no appraisal to deal with, and then unfortunately a lot of times that's the way the seller will go, just because it's easier. But that doesn't necessarily mean that happens every single time. I've had a lot of buyers that have been up against cash offers, and writing a sweet little letter to the seller, kind of explaining why you love the house or why you want to be in that area. Sometimes that works. So
that actually works.
Oh yeah.
I've heard of these kinds of strategies, but I thought it was all like a myth, like a unicorn.
It's definitely true. Love letters are great. You have to be a little bit cautious about how much information you're willing to divulge in your love letter. You can't talk too much about yourself or your kids or anything like that. You just want to make it, I tell my people to just keep it real short and sweet. say something about the house that you love, say something about the neighborhood that you love, and that you're going to take great care of the house. And again, some sellers don't really care about that stuff. So you have to kind of gauge with the other agent if that's something that's going to be beneficial or not.
So recently we've seen some very scary natural disasters. Do you advise Colorado home buyers to get certain types of insurance? Are there certain things that we need to be aware of? I have certain things I'm thinking of at the top of my head, but if you're someone who's not familiar with the area, you're coming in from out of state, what would be the types of natural occurrences you would let people know about that they might want to consider insuring themselves for that might be different from where they're originally from?
Sure. So almost nobody has flood insurance in Denver, and a lot of people probably should. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen.
Yeah, we did have that big flood back in the day, like in the 60s, like a huge one.
Right. Well, and even the big rains that we had, was it 4 years ago? Yeah, I think in 2013, where it rained and rained and rained and rained for 2 weeks straight.
Yeah, that was crazy.
A lot. I mean, everyone I knew had a flooded basement, and you can't file an insurance claim if you don't have flood insurance for that type of thing. So it can be pricey, but it's not crazy expensive. It's something to definitely consider to add to your insurance policy. And then the other thing is we have hail here. For those of y'all that don't know how many hailstorms we have, lots of them. Like every year, usually a couple of good ones a year. We just had one in May of this year that took out the entire west side of Denver. And obviously homeowners insurance is going to, for the most part, cover hail, but watch those deductibles for hail, because most people don't realize that it's not always a set amount. It's not always a $1,000 deductible. Really look carefully at your policy, because more and more insurance companies are making it a lot more expensive to replace your roof if it's due to hail damage.
Oh, wow. For those people, you're a native. We actually discovered that I think you're still best friends with a girl that I was actually a cheerleader with back in high school. So we probably crossed paths during our high school years, which I find hilarious. So what's it like living in Denver, and why do you continue to do so?
Oh gosh, it's so funny. When I was young, I really didn't think I would stay in Denver. I mean, not that I don't love it here, but when I was younger, I kind of thought Denver was kind of a cow town and kind of boring. And I thought that there were much more exciting places to be. But, as I got older and settled in some more and, realized how awesome Denver is, just like everyone else that's here right now. And it just gets better and better. I mean, it's, there's a lot of emotions that I have about seeing all of this growth in Denver. It's exciting. It can be a little bit frustrating at times. I don't ever want to be that native Denverite that doesn't want other people coming here from out of state. I don't feel that way at all, but we've definitely seen some serious growth. And a lot of people that are, not natives to Colorado have been coming here over the past few years, and you just have to, kind of adapt to the growth. And it's again, like I said, exciting and frustrating at the same time, but mostly exciting.
Are there still some hidden gems out there that you don't need to share? But like, if you're wanting to spend some time in the mountains, do you feel like everyone's up there with you, or do you still have some little hidden gems, like little special places that you can go and it still feels like when we were younger?
Yeah, I think there's definitely still several out there, and like you said, I'm probably not going to share.
Don't have like everybody and their mother in your place, but
right, exactly. But yeah, no, I think there's still lots of hidden gems that people can find on their own, or get clued in by a local that's willing to share the information with them. And going up to the foothills or the mountains, you're definitely going to be sharing with other people, but there's certain areas that you won't be one of the thousands of people that are converging on it over the weekend. Or
what would be your number one piece of advice for purchasing a home, actually? And then I'm going to ask you about your number one piece of advice about living here.
What my biggest advice, and we already touched on this a little bit, but again, patience, patience. There is housing here. It is competitive, but it's not impossible to find a house by any means. You just have to be patient and realize that if there's a great house in a great location in a cool neighborhood, you are probably not going to be the only person that's interested in that house. There's probably going to be several. Then you just have to put your best foot forward and give it your best shot.
And actually, before your number one piece of advice about living here, what are some of the hottest neighborhoods right now? I know they kind of shift from time to time, but what are the neighborhoods that you're like, oh my God, I remember it when it was this, but now it's this?
Oh boy. I mean, really everything in central Denver is pretty crazy, but Sunnyside is super hot. Really even some of the suburbs right now are kind of the hot spots because there's still great houses at affordable prices. So Wheat Ridge is super hot. Arvada is super hot. Lakewood is really hot. So some of these, outlying suburbs are really where buyers are focusing if they feel like they've been priced out of being in Denver. So yeah, so there's still lots of areas that you can get an affordable house and be close enough to the city if you need to get into the city.
Well, Arvada, especially once they get that G line going, it's going to be awesome.
It's gonna be awesome. And I think that, the momentum in Arvada started a couple of years ago when they knew that line was going to be opening. So, but there's still lots of great affordable opportunities in Arvada.
What's the price range that you're seeing for homes in Denver, by the way?
Oh gosh, it's all over the place. For quote unquote starter homes, under 400 is kind of what a lot of my first time buyers are looking at.
Wow.
But really, I know it's crazy.
Oh.
But I work with a lot of buyers that, are looking up to, in the 700 to 800,000 range and competing against multiple offers in that range too. It just depends on the neighborhood.
What do you want a prospective buyer to have set and ready to go when they're working with you besides the pre-approval, not the pre-qualification?
The pre-approval is important, but what I do with all of my buyers is what we call market education day, where we will set up showings for as many houses as I can possibly get us into in a day. And I try to do anywhere between 12 and 15. So it's a lot of houses in one day, but it's great because we can go into the neighborhoods that the buyers already think that they want to be in. And then I usually pick a few houses in neighborhoods that maybe the buyers haven't explored yet or haven't thought of. And it really gives them a good sense of, okay, if I have $400,000 to spend, what am I going to get in Denver for $400,000? And what am I going to have to give up if I want to be in this neighborhood? What am I going to get if I go outside of this neighborhood a little bit that I've got my heart set on? It gives them a good realistic expectation of what their money is going to get them in Denver.
Finally, and these are the last two questions, what's it like raising kiddos here? And you were a kid too here, so you can share.
I was.
You're like,
it's great. The best part about Colorado in general, and I think that what everyone loves Colorado for and Denver for in general is there's something for everybody here. If you're athletic, it's endless. If you're into food, there's tons of restaurant stuff going on right now. If you like concerts, we have amazing music venues. If you like, really, there is something for everyone. With the exception of a sandy beach with palm trees, we have got everything here.
There are no beaches. We could include Cherry Creek, though, actually.
Sure, we could call that our beach.
Ish, And then what's it like raising your kiddos here?
Oh, it's so much fun. They're great. We're in a good spot. There's good schools. There's it's diverse. It's a great place to raise kids. Endless activities and just being surrounded by good people.
And finally, what's your number one piece of advice about living here? For like a newbie, not for someone who's from here, but like for someone who's like, I'm from New York. New Yorkers are a hard bunch because either they love it or hate it, which is really hilarious. But
Right.
there's no in between with them. But if you're talking to someone who's from out of state and they reach out, they're like, "Hey, we heard your podcast from Square State, and we're really excited to move to Denver. We've been thinking about it." But what would be your number one piece of advice for out of town people who are looking to live here and buy here?
Well, I think I'll go back to my point about like there's something for everyone here. So if you get to Colorado and you're not feeling like you've found your right place or the right fit or your tribe, man, you're doing something wrong. I mean, there's so many fantastic, diverse groups of people here and fun things to do and activities and jobs. And I don't know if it's advice, but I just want to say that Colorado and Denver in general it's such a great community, and there is something for everyone here. If you're in Denver and not finding things that interest you, you're not trying hard enough. I mean, there's something for everyone here. It's great.
I just saw an all male like Macbeth, okay, with techno music. There is something happening everywhere for everyone. So it was kind of blew my mind. I'm still thinking about this theatrical experience. I would agree with you that there's something for everyone. I would say when we were younger, it would have been challenging. Now, really, there's really no excuse. There's just a ton of things that you can do. A ton of people out here are looking to meet new people. And if someone is totally excited about moving here and working with you, how can they connect with you?
Several different ways. I mean, I can be reached at my email, Kari, Kari, at porchlightgroup.com. I'm also happy to share my phone number. Do you want me to share that with you now?
I think we'll do it in the show notes.
Okay.
And then basically, please be somewhat serious. Kari does have some requirements before she starts showing you around town because she's a busy lady and she's very, 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 very well thought of, and she's hustling. She will get you into a wonderful home. I can attest to that. I am looking forward to looking for a new home in the next probably year or so. It's starting to get closer. It's almost time. So I can't wait to embark on that journey with her as well. I appreciate all that you do, as do all of your other clients, I'm sure. And I'm just so excited to share this information with people because I do get a lot of questions about what is it like to live in Denver? What's the price point? What should we consider? What should we think of? And I think this would be the last question. Before a potential buyer goes to a lender, what would you advise them to do? Should they, if they're looking to buy just in general, like a year from now, should they start kind of preparing, like looking at their credit cards and their debt to income ratio and stuff like that, maybe a year out to begin preparing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more time you have to prepare, the better. Obviously, if you've got any sort of questionable credit, you want to make sure you're working on that and clearing up as much of the bad stuff as you can. And really, again, nailing down a budget and making sure you're going to be comfortable with payments. I do have a lot of people that, they've been renting for years and they want to buy property and rents are going up, 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 up. But they think that they're going to get a house for maybe the exact same amount that they're paying in rent. I guess my advice to those people is be prepared that your mortgage may be a little bit higher than what you're paying in rent right now, depending on what type of monthly rent you have. But there's so many more benefits to owning real estate than paying rent. I can't, don't even get me started on that.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Exactly. That's a whole nother podcast.
That's like a podcast for my personal finance podcast. Because I think I'm probably thinking the same way you are about rent versus owning, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right. But, I have had people that have been renting, and then once we get them into a house and a mortgage, their mortgage does end up being less than what they're paying in rent. So it just depends. But again, just being, realistic about your budget and knowing that, the benefits of owning a home might be worth paying a couple $100 more a month than what you're paying in rent to a landlord. So
there you go. You guys heard it. I've had a wonderful time speaking with Kari. She's very, very busy, so I was really excited that she was able to fit me in. Today is a very cloudy, rainy day, so I don't know if she's showing houses, but if she is, I'm sending her good vibes so that she can close some deals today.
Thanks, Michelle. So fun to talk to you.
Thank you.